The HIV virus targets T4 cells in the body, which regulate antibodies and control the immune system and its functions. The RNA virus ejects itself into cells and makes copies of itself using our own DNA. There's a typical incubation period of 6 to 8 weeks after initial infection, which might result in a period of inactivity before flu-like symptoms are shown, including fever, chills, rash, swollen lymph nodes, fatigue, and night sweats. However, symptoms don't always present themselves in each case, so it is important to be tested. Symptoms also can suddenly stop, but the virus continues to multiply and destroy people's immune systems. Once enough cells are destroyed, it does become AIDS. An untreated patient has about 2 to 3 years to live and usually dies of something that the immune system could be able to handle if they were not infected.
HIV is transmitted by sex, shared needles, occasionally blood transfusions, and also from mother to child, which is the largest factor in the present-day pandemic. Transmission is easier from men to women. Today, cases in the US have dropped off, and the disease can be managed like a chronic illness with a lot of expensive drugs. 1.1 million people in the US have HIV, but 1 in 7 don't know they have it. It is commonly more prevalent in high-risk groups. 36.7 million worldwide had it in 2015. 1.8 million were children.
HIV/AIDS was first identified in the Democratic Republic of the Congo in 1976 and has truly become a global pandemic, killing more than 36 million people since 1981. Currently, there are between 31 and 35 million people living with HIV, with about 21 million living in sub-Saharan Africa, which constitutes 5% of the population. Increasing awareness has paved the way for new treatments to make HIV more manageable, allowing many of those infected to lead productive lives. Between 2005 and 2012, the annual global deaths from HIV/AIDS dropped from 2.6 million to 1.6 million.
French virologist Luc-Antoine Montagnier discovered the disease in 1984. Dr. Robert Gallo and Dr. J. Lebby were also credited with discovery at this time. Each scientist had a different name for the disease, but their research was similar. AZT, a drug discovered by Jerome Horowitz, was approved for trial in humans very quickly in 1987. It cost about $8,000 per year. It was originally developed as a cancer drug and was supposed to block the HIV virus, but it may have actually been killing healthy cells due to a dosage issue. This drug is still used today, but dosage is monitored to prevent adverse effects. Also used today is antiretroviral therapy, or ART, to treat HIV with a regimen of drugs. There are seven drug classes for all the drugs depending on how they fight the virus. The first regimen is made up of 3 total drugs from 2 different drug classes. There's also pre-exposure prophylaxis, or PrEP, available for those that are at a high risk for HIV. It's a combination of 2 HIV drugs, tenofovir and emtricitabine.
Now that we just went over the history and treatment of HIV/AIDS, we will now move on to talk about the film Dallas Buyers Club. Does the author-director accurately and compellingly demonstrate the distinctive characteristics of the disease?
Thanks for having us, Reed.
The director demonstrates the characteristics very well. He accurately portrays how the symptoms of late-stage HIV impact Ron Woodruff. It clearly shows how weak and fatigued he was becoming. He also shows how a patient in treatment can maintain a healthy lifestyle while living with the disease, and the director shows the key moments in Ron's life with the disease to make it clear that to the viewer that it is possible to live well.
Wow, that was a really good explanation, guys. So now, how does the style and genre impact the disease's depiction in the film?
That's a great question. This film is a biographical drama film, so it strives to capture the details of the disease and the attitude of the general public towards people infected with HIV. But it's also historical fiction, so characters like Ron and Rayon are personality extremes that add to the drama in the film.
I would have to agree. Now, which scenes or quotes do you feel are the most effective in illustrating the destructive and powerful nature of this illness?
For me, the library scene was simply put together, but also a very powerful one, and it set the backdrop for the whole movie. It begins with Ron being diagnosed as HIV positive, so he goes and researches it, but he's at first in denial because he thinks it's only a disease for homosexuals. But he actually comes to the point of realizing that it's for everyone and that his misbehavior in the past has affected his future, and he's going to be a sick man for a long time.
I think it's also important because it goes against the stigma at the time that HIV was just a disease for homosexuals, and it showed that like the disease didn't discriminate among people and could affect anyone.
Mm-hmm. And I think one of the last scenes in the movie where Ron and Rayon are in the supermarket, and Rayon tries to buy bologna, I think it really shows how like you can live a healthy life with the disease as long as you're following your like regimen of drugs and choosing to eat healthy foods and not fill your body with like preservatives. So you're keeping your immune system at its highest capacity as possible.
So what do you all feel about the main character, Ron Woodruff, and also his unexpected new friend, Rayon?
For me, Ron was unlikable at the beginning. His lifestyle was very specific to him and I guess the culture he was around. He did not have a good upbringing from what it seemed. He partied hard, did drugs, did not have respect for women, and I did not get a good vibe from him at the beginning of the movie, to say the least.
I feel like the disease really humanized him. Like he started out very homophobic, and it made him realize that like people who have like other sexual orientations are just trying to live their lives like he is. So he evolved into like a more likable character as he came to terms with his illness throughout the movie.
And him meeting Rayon was really the catalyst for his change, because he was in the hospital, and Rayon really helped him like Rayon really showed him that the disease affects everyone, and that like Rayon is just a person just as Ron is, and is just trying to live as long as he can with the disease.
Now overall, do you all feel that the style of this work appeals to you?
Having the content in a film setting makes it more visually attractive and makes it more important to see it, because you can really feel the urgency of all the patient's needs in having a treatment or a semblance of a cure so they can live a productive life with the disease.
And I feel like the character or the actor's commitment to their characters in the movie also, like you were saying, adds to the urgency of it. Like Matthew McConaughey lost about 50 pounds for this role, and so it just really is able to realistically show the effects of this disease on people, and just like how important it is to know about this disease because of the drastic effects it has.
Yeah, like his weight loss was really important for like the world to see in like a Oscar award-winning film. Like everyone's getting to see how this disease impacts people and what they look like with it and the detrimental effects it has, and it's just terrible.
Thank you guys for sharing your opinions on Dallas Buyers Club. For me, I feel that this film overall encompasses a large array of social stigmas and how people have to work to fight these preconceived opinions. The actors in the film do a really good job of showing the severity and the impact this disease has on the families and individuals infected. Thank you all for tuning in.
Oh my. Y'all need to get it together.
He also shows how people
Stop! She has a bad start because
I was ready. I was waiting.
I thought you were gonna get it on
I was gonna say something about like, I don't know.
Okay.
Accurately and compellingly demonstrates the distinctive characteristics of the distinctive characteristics of the disease.